Greetings ladies and gents, how are you doing? Today hell has officially frozen over because the Bootneck is in full agreement with Owen Jones. Yes, you didn't hear that incorrectly. Probably a world first, that. My hand hovered over the retweet button and then I seen who posted it and recoiled. Like, instead of my hand going near my mouse, it was hovering over my granddad's penis. Can we agree on something? If a Tory leader had backed policies which condemned vulnerable children and pensioners to poverty while accepting £100,000 worth of freebies on a massive salary, Labour supporters would unite in outrage. Yes or no? Well, you've changed my mind, Owen, you smooth-talking devil. Right then, as you might expect from Comrade Kia, it's mind-melting hypocrisy of truly monumental proportions. Because this fella hasn't just been accepting gifts. No. This bloke has been acting like the most stereotypical inhabitant of a sink estate, a project. They call them projects out here in the States. Essentially, it's like a cross between a trailer park and a council estate. But he's behaving like the world's worst, most lowly inhabitant of a project housing estate who's all of a sudden, age 16, being given a $50 million basketball contract and then proceeds to spend the next 3 weeks marching around all the strip clubs in a lilac pimp suit with goldfish swimming around in his platform shoes, throwing fistful of dollar bills at pole dancers and sniffing high-quality Colombian cuckoo dust. Keir Starmer has declared over £100,000 worth of free tickets and gifts, more than any major party leader in recent times. Yeah, you read that right. He makes Boris Johnson look reserved, and you all remember Boris Johnson was jizzing 900 quid a roll on the wallpaper for his house. Like all commie dictators, Starmer is just doing what it says on the tin, isn't he? He's the type of bloke who pensioners have been told they can't turn the heating on, but he'll go past them in a big golden chariot wearing a flowing purple cloak, biting chicken legs once and then discarding them for the dogs like some sort of comical villain from a dystopian fantasy novel. That's unbelievable. So let's get into what he's been spending other people's money on, shall we? From The Guardian. Keir Starmer, hang on. From The Guardian. I can't believe I'm even saying this. I'm quoting a Guardian story and I'm not packing a rage boner. This must be a world first. Total agreement with a Guardian story. You know you're doing a bad job when you've got me agreeing with a journalist in The Guardian. The Prime Minister has come under fire for clothing, accommodation and glasses provided by Wahid Ali. Indeed, Keir Starmer has declared more free tickets and gifts than other major party leaders in recent times, with his total now topping £100,000 after recent support for his lifestyle from Labour donor Wahid Ali. The Prime Minister has accepted almost 40 sets of free tickets during his time as Labour leader, mostly to football matches, but also £4,000 worth of hospitality at a Taylor Swift concert and 700 quid's worth of Coldplay tickets in Manchester. Exactly what it says on the tin. You knew he was going to do this. If I was the Prime Minister, I'd take nothing. I'd walk and cycle everywhere, make large donations out of my salary, and refuse to expense anything. Because after the expenses scandal drove the entire nation wild with rage and fury, I'd be convinced if I took the slash and billed every single sandwich I ever ate to the taxpayer, like Diane Abacus does, and she eats a lot of sandwiches. She's got an head like a recycling bin, right? She does some troughing, but you buy all of it. To our scumbag politicians, the salary isn't for spending. Like normal people spend the salary on taxis and food and petrol and bills, because that's just life. That's what your salary's for. But our dirty, lying, slimy, thieving, scum-sucking, sack of rats politicians think the salary just goes in stocks and shares so they can make even more money. And everything they need to live, like clothes and shoes and food and petrol, every penny of that gets lumped on their expenses. And you buy that. So like I keep saying, every sausage roll that big, fat, scum-sucking ratbags like David Lammy and Diane Abacus shovel into their fat faces, you're buying it. Separately from the salary, they expense the lot. I remember one of Blair's babes famously bought 11 laptops in a year because she was just giving them out like cheap National Lottery scratch cards to all of her friends and family, willy-nilly, because they take the piss in a way that blows my mind. Genuinely staggers me. I can't believe they don't just cringe, shiver with shame every time they walk past a mirror. Our politicians should be so self-loathing they can't bring themselves to do it. Keir Starmer should be more uncomfortable walking past a mirror than John Merrick. Starmer was criticised this week for the scale of the gifts given to him, who paid for his work clothing worth £12,000, accommodation worth more than 20 grand, and glasses valued at £2,500, especially since the donor was temporarily given a pass to number 10 after the election. Angela Eagle, a minister, struggled to defend the Prime Minister's decision to accept so many freebies when pressed on Times Radio on Tuesday. She said, "I'm afraid I'm not responsible for decisions the Prime Minister makes." Starmer's acceptance of freebies raised eyebrows after the Financial Times reported during the election he had taken £76,000 worth of hospitality and gifts, and since then he has declared even more. The Labour Party declined to answer when pressed on whether Ali had funded Starmer's hotel accommodation during the election. So yeah then, yeah. Declined to answer? Yeah. When a politician declines to answer, what they mean is, yeah. Have you ever expensed hookers and blow? I can't answer that question. Yeah. Have you ever touched an 8-year-old under the bridge in the bushes near a primary school? Decline to answer that question. Yeah. Yeah, it's always the answer. So we know the answer. Thanks for telling us. Cheers. Starmer insisted his acceptance of gifts was related to his security requirements. Or never going to an Arsenal game again because I can't accept hospitality is pushing it a bit far. Other previous party leaders have not declared so many free tickets and hospitality. David Cameron declared one set of rugby tickets and being hosted at a ball alongside £4,000 worth of personal training sessions. There you go, David Cameron. Plummy, 5-head David Cameron, distant relative of the Queen, pictured in his Bullingdon suit, the reek of poshness that surrounds him, and compared to Comrade Starmlin, Cameron is like a Cockney pickpocket. He's like a Victorian-era chimney sweep. "Hello, governor. Spare half a farthing for some jelly deals." That's Cameron. Compared to Starmer, the bloke is an absolute ratbag. When Ed Miliband was Labour leader, he declared BA upgrades on a flight to South Africa worth up to £6 grand and Paralympic tickets of unknown value. He also declared tickets to see the Boston Red Sox worth nearly £3 grand and 500 to attend a Lunar Festival. And Jezza Corbyn took Glastonbury tickets and admitted he's got £600,000 in donations to his legal fighting fund. Jellyfish Johnson, Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak have less directly comparable declarations as they all became Prime Minister as soon as they took over. So you know what that sounds like to me? And may my tongue turn black for defending Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. But that sounds like to me, the Guardian readers just had to concede the worst offenders were Labour. Jezza, Millipede and Starmer make Tory Prime Ministers look positively thrifty. Brilliant. Brilliant. Again, no surprise to people like you and I, dear listener, but it should curl the toes off any Labour voter who was daft enough to swallow the lie. "Ooh, we're all about the working classes, us lads." Do me a favour, they have always been staggeringly hypocritical. And I've made this point before, the Tories are not much better, but they are slightly better. Even during the expenses scandal, the aforementioned large one, I do remember slightly more of the big hitters were Labour, and I believe only 2 or 3 of them got custodial sentences as a result of it, and they were Labour MPs, not Conservatives. And at least if you're getting fingered by a rich, posh, Eton-educated Tory, you expect it from them. When the same thing happens but it's a Labour MP, it's worse, because the Labour MPs are the ones who style themselves as men of the people. Boris Johnson and David Cameron have never, or Jacob Rees-Mogg, for example, they've never once said, "Oh yeah, I'm a working man like you." But the Labour MPs do it, and all of the while fleecing you and occasionally diddling your kids. So, brilliant. Thanks for summing up, Guardian. Love that. That was the best piece of journalism that limp-wristed, bird-boned rag will ever produce. So, mark this day in your calendars. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. All right, that's just my 2 cents on the story. I'll put a link in there if you want to read it, aghast and amazed with your own 2 eyes. Okay? Let me know what you think in the comments, as usual. If you disagree and you think Starmer is definitely a man of the people, sorry, Sir Keir Starmer, OBE, SDC, whatever. He is definitely a man of the people in his £3 glasses and his 10 grand suit. Definitely. Please let me know in the comments so we can point at you and laugh. Alright? Hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks as always to all my members, and I'll see you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.